Three, two, one. We're at Stall Cemetery in Stewart County, Tennessee, in an area known as Rattlesnake Hollow. The Glasgows lived here at this location. There are some other families associated with the Glasgows lived here, and James Marion Glasgow, while not born here, born in eastern Tennessee, moved here probably when he was 7, when a little kid. And we're going to the grave of William K. Cosin and Mary Scarborough. William K. Cosin, born in 1794, and Mary Scarborough's family from Virginia. Both families, Cosins and Scarboroughs, provided patriotic services to the American Army during the Revolutionary War. Uh, William K. Cosin, at 20 years old, 1814, was in the Tennessee militia, went up the Cumberland River to the Ohio to the Mississippi, and ended up at the Battle of New Orleans in 1814. Colonel Jackson. Andrew Jackson later became President of the United States. So the grave is over here. The grave of William K. Cosin. William K. Cosin, born in 1794. His wife, Mary Scarborough. Mary's brother, William Harrison Scarborough, was one of the most famous portrait artists of the 19th century. He studied medicine in Cincinnati, ended up in Charleston, South Carolina, and later Columbia, South Carolina. He painted John C. Calhoun, James Chestnut, and other famous folks during the 19th century. So that was Mary Scarborough Cosin's brother. William K. Cosin, like I said, born in 1794, when he was 20 years old, in 1814, participated in the Battle of New Orleans, traveled up the Cumberland River to the Ohio, down the Ohio to the Mississippi and to New Orleans, was a veteran of the Battle of New Orleans. Colonel Jackson later became President of the United States. The Cosin family from Anson County, North Carolina, owned Cosin's Mill. During the Revolution, there was a battle of Cosin's Mill between Patriots and Loyalists. The Cosin family, Joseph Cosin, provided patriotic services to the American cause. The Scarborough family, Mary Scarborough, John Scarborough in Brunswick County, Virginia, provided beef and wheat to the American Army. Probably Nathaniel Greene's army marching through Virginia during the Revolution. I have just placed a War of 1812 marker by William K. Cosin. Now the other thing about this area that's significant, this little area by the Cumberland River over here, this little valley, is known as Rattlesnake Hollow. The story I was told was the Glasgows, James Marion Glasgow's father and mother, had lived in a place called Rattlesnake Hollow in Stewart County, Tennessee, this location. James Marion Glasgow moved here when he was 7 years old, or 7 or 8 years old, something like that, and lived here and married. James Marion Glasgow married Sarah Cosin, the daughter of William K. and Mary. Okay. So this, for me, is a great grandparents, grandfather and grandmother, the father-in-law and mother-in-law of James Marion Glasgow. But then another significant item is the Glasgows lived here in this valley. So it's highly likely that John Glasgow and Elizabeth Reese is buried in this cemetery. We had suspected Old Long Creek Cemetery because the administrator of the estate owned the land right next to it. But now I'm beginning to think that John and Elizabeth Glasgow are buried in this cemetery, along with the Cosins. Now, George Cosin, brother of William K. Cosin, is also buried in this cemetery, and he is my great grandfather. William, we are here at the grave of William K. Cosin and Mary Scarborough Cosin. These are my great grandparents. Their daughter, Sarah Ann Cosin, married James Marion Glasgow. William K. Cosin was born in 1794 in North Carolina, and when he was 20 years old, he participated and was a veteran of the Battle of New Orleans, where Colonel Jackson, Andrew Jackson, later became President of the United States. So Mary Scarborough's brother was a famous portrait artist. His name was William Harrison Scarborough. He lived in South Carolina and painted John C. Calhoun and other famous folks during the 19th century. So anyway, this is the grave of William K. Cosin, a veteran of the War of 1812. I've just placed a marker for that, War of 1812 marker, and his wife, Mary Scarborough.